Every year, we tell ourselves there's plenty of time to get our finances in order. We'll start saving later. We'll fix our taxes later. We'll invest when things feel stable. But what if I told you the deadline isn't someday? It's 2026. In less than 2 years, tax laws will reset, deductions will shrink, and the cost of waiting will hit harder than most people realize. In this video, I'll show you the 5 moves you need to make before that happens. Simple steps that could save you thousands, protect your investments, and help you build real wealth while everyone else scrambles to catch up. Because by the time 2026 arrives, the rules will change and the people who acted early will already be winning. The tax window is closing. For nearly a decade, Americans have lived under some of the lowest tax rates in modern history. But that era is ending. When the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires in 2025, the brackets, deductions, and credits that millions depend on will revert to higher levels. What does that mean in real terms? It means the same paycheck could be taxed more. The same charitable donations could save you less. The same investment income could cost you more. Every number shifts upward unless you act before the reset. The smart move is to accelerate deductions and conversions while you still can. If you've been planning to donate, pay off medical bills, or prepay mortgage interest, do it under today's rates. If you have a traditional IRA or 401k, think about converting part of it into a Roth before the window closes. Paying taxes now under lower rates can save you from paying more later under higher ones. It's not about guessing the market. It's about reading the calendar. And there's another angle that few people notice. Taxes aren't just about money. They're about timing. They control when your wealth grows and how it's taxed along the way. A Roth conversion today doesn't just lock in a rate. It changes your future. When everyone else is trying to figure out how to reduce their tax bill in 2026, you'll already have income that grows tax-free. It's the quiet advantage of people who prepare early. So ask yourself this: when the system resets, will you be ahead of it or behind it? Rebalancing before the recoil. Look back at the last few years and you'll see chaos in motion. Stocks soared and sank. Inflation burned through savings. Interest rates jumped to heights no one expected. Through it all, portfolios changed shape, and not always for the better. Many investors ended up overweight in tech, underweight in safety, and completely unprepared for another cycle of volatility. That's why the second move before 2026 is to rebalance now, not later. Rebalancing isn't about chasing the next big thing. It's about bringing balance back to your money. It means trimming the positions that ran too far and strengthening the ones that were left behind. It's quiet work, but it matters. By resetting your mix, you reduce risk right when markets are becoming unpredictable again. And there's a bonus. With current tax laws still in place, you can harvest losses and realize gains at more favorable rates before those brackets rise again. Selling strategically in 2024 or 2025 could save you from paying more on the same profits in 2026. But the biggest reason to rebalance isn't mathematical. It's psychological. Investors tend to fall in love with what's working and ignore what's lagging. Yet the very things that feel safe at the top often bring the hardest falls. A balanced portfolio keeps you flexible. It gives you the liquidity when prices drop and courage when others panic. Imagine the market dips in 2026, right as new tax rules kick in. Most people will be frozen in uncertainty, but you'll have room to move, cash to deploy, and a strategy that works no matter what headlines say. Preparation gives you power long before luck ever does. The retirement shift you can't afford to miss. Retirement used to be simple. You worked, you saved, you retired, and the math felt predictable. But today, even the rules of that equation are changing. The Secure 2.0 Act, quietly unfolding through 2026, is rewriting how Americans save, invest, and withdraw from their future. It's one of those slow-moving changes that most people ignore until it's too late. On paper, it sounds technical, but in practice, it can reshape decades of financial planning. Under these new provisions, high-income earners will see their catch-up contributions, the extra amount allowed after age 50, shift from tax-deferred traditional accounts to after-tax Roth accounts. At first glance, it feels like a small adjustment, but the ripple effect is enormous. That switch removes the immediate tax deduction older savers rely on, meaning the upfront relief disappears. Yet it also creates a silver lining. Roth money grows and withdraws tax-free. The problem is timing. Those who act before the rule fully locks in can still use the current structure to balance both advantages. Those who delay will lose the choice entirely. If you're over 50, these next 2 years are the bridge between two different retirement systems. The old one favors deduction. The new one favors taxation now for freedom later. Before 2026, you still have the option to play both sides, to fill your traditional 401k and IRA while sprinkling contributions into Roth accounts. Max them out while the limits still work in your favor. If you own a small business, use an SEP IRA or a solo 401k to pack away more while you still can. These aren't abstract decisions on a spreadsheet. They're ticking deadlines written into law. When 2026 arrives, the structure will shift, and the new environment will reward the early, not the late. There's also the subtle power of compound timing. Every extra dollar you put in now grows under better conditions. It compounds not only through market returns, but through more favorable tax treatment. Waiting a year doesn't just cost a year. It can cost thousands in potential growth sheltered under current rules. Compounding doesn't wait for anyone. And once new brackets or contribution limits appear, you can't rewind it. Many investors think retirement planning ends with contributions. In truth, it's also about flexibility. Having a mix of pre-tax and after-tax savings gives you the ability to control your income in the future, especially when tax brackets rise again. Pre-tax accounts give you relief today. Roth accounts give you control tomorrow. That balance can mean the difference between a retirement that feels like freedom and one that feels like constant calculation. The world is moving toward higher taxes, longer lifespans, and more complex financial rules. The people who prepare in 2024 and 2025 won't just retire earlier, they'll retire smarter. They'll understand how to pull income from the right bucket at the right time and how to stretch every dollar across a longer life without letting the system eat into it. Retirement isn't about guessing when to stop working. It's about building a plan that works when the rules change. And those who think one tax cycle ahead will own the future while everyone else tries to catch up. The hidden clock on wealth transfer. Every generation faces one quiet financial deadline, the moment when the government takes a bigger share of what you leave behind. For this generation, that moment arrives at the end of 2025. That's when the lifetime estate and gift tax exemption, currently more than $13 million per person, is scheduled to shrink by nearly half. It's not a proposal or a rumor. It's written into the law. And when the clock runs out, it will change how wealth passes from one generation to the next. At first glance, it sounds like a problem for the ultra-rich, but that's where most people make a mistake. Middle-class families, business owners, and even diligent long-term investors can cross that threshold faster than they realize. A house bought decades ago for $500,000 can be worth $2 million today. Add a retirement portfolio, life insurance proceeds, and maybe a small business, and suddenly, an ordinary family is staring at a taxable estate. The law doesn't care how hard you worked for it. It only cares what it's worth when you're gone. Acting before 2026 gives you the chance to use the higher exemption to your advantage. You can transfer assets today through trusts, gifts, or family partnerships while locking in current values. That simple step removes the future growth of those assets from your taxable estate. A business that's worth $2 million now but could be worth 5 in 10 years can be transferred under today's rules, saving your heirs from future taxes on that growth. It's one of the most powerful, yet underused tools in personal finance, and the window for it is closing fast. But estate planning isn't just a financial exercise, it's emotional. It decides how your life's work continues or how it disappears. Too many families avoid the conversation because it feels uncomfortable, only to have their wealth tangled in probate courts or taxed away. A thoughtful plan means your values guide your legacy. It ensures that what you built goes where you intended, to your children, your causes, your community, instead of being redistributed by default. Think of it this way. Waiting until 2026 to start your estate plan is like seeing a storm offshore and assuming it'll change direction. The system is shifting whether you prepare or not. Every estate attorney in the country already knows the rush that's coming. By 2025, their calendars will be packed with last-minute fillings from people who waited too long. Those who act now get the full exemption, the full attention of their advisors, and the full peace of mind that comes with control. Even if you don't consider yourself wealthy, start the conversation. Review your assets. Check how titles and beneficiaries are listed. Explore simple tools like revocable trusts or charitable remainder strategies that let you give with impact while protecting your heirs. The beauty of planning early is that you keep your options open. When the exemption drops, the door narrows, and history shows it rarely opens again soon. Legacy isn't about writing a will at the end of your life. It's about protecting the meaning of your work throughout it. Every hour you spend now gives your family more freedom later. Every step you take before 2026 ensures that your wealth becomes a story of preparation, not a cautionary tale of delay. The laws will change, the numbers will reset, but one thing stays constant. The people who act before the deadline always keep more of what's theirs. Liquidity, protection, and the freedom to move. If the last few years have taught us anything, it's that financial stability isn't about how much you earn, it's about how quickly you can adapt. The fifth move before 2026 is to build a liquidity and protection plan strong enough to weather anything. Cash isn't wasted money. It's your margin of safety when the world moves faster than you can. Start with your emergency fund. 3 months used to be enough, but in a high-cost, high-risk world, 6 to 12 months is smarter. Keep it in a high-yield savings account or money market fund where it earns interest yet stays accessible. Because when opportunity comes, liquidity is your invitation. When trouble comes, it's your lifeline. Insurance deserves the same attention. Review your policies while premiums are stable. Life insurance, disability coverage, umbrella liability, these aren't luxuries, they're shields. They protect everything you've built from being erased by one bad week. And don't overlook the silent vulnerabilities: identity theft, cyber risk, or digital asset loss. In 2026 and beyond, financial security will depend as much on digital safety as on dollars and cents. Finally, stay flexible. The economy is evolving faster than any spreadsheet can predict. The rules you know today will look different in 2 years. Keep cash ready to invest when others retreat. Maintain credit lines before you need them. And remember that wealth is less about owning everything and more about being ready for anything. The people who enter 2026 with cash, coverage, and confidence won't just survive. They'll move faster when opportunity knocks. The clock to 2026 is ticking, and every choice between now and then will echo for years. The 5 moves you've just learned: locking in deductions, rebalancing investments, maximizing retirement accounts, protecting your legacy, and building liquidity, aren't theories. They're actions you can take right now. Most people won't. They'll wait for certainty, for headlines, for reminders that come too late. But the future doesn't wait, and neither should you. Imagine looking back 2 years from now and realizing you were ready when others weren't. That you kept more, earned more, and stayed calm when the world changed again. That's what preparation feels like. So start today. Review your finances. Talk to your advisor. Make the adjustments that future you will thank you for. Because once 2026 arrives, there won't be second chances, only results. And if this video helped you see the road ahead more clearly, hit like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more guides on building real financial freedom before the next chapter of money begins. The clock is running, and the smartest move you can make is to act before time runs out.